Today's My Thoughts Monday is brought to you by GymAware, the leading tool when measuring performance in the weight room. Guys, VBT is all the craze right now. It's a hot, sexy topic, although it's something that's been around for a while. And the man who wrote the book on velocity-based training, Brian Mann, has called the GymAware the Rolls Royce when it comes to velocity measuring devices. Guys, the ability for you to shoot all your information right up into the cloud and store it right away is enough for me right there to make sure that this is something that I had in my weight room. Putting things together with instant feedback as to how the reps are being performed. On top of that, with the x-axis correction, so you don't have to necessarily worry about direct positioning when you're performing the exercises. Tying that in with the visualization of everything and the ability to allow the athletes to compete, make this an absolutely stellar tool and something I couldn't recommend you having in your weight room enough. Hop on over to kinetic.com.au today and see everything that they have to offer. Hey everybody, if you enjoy the podcast and the content that it provides, make sure you hop over and check out the all-new Strength Coach Network. The Strength Coach Network is a combination of the CVA SPS community and the Rugby Strength Coach community, bringing you what is sure to be the internet's leading resource for continuing education for strength and conditioning professionals. Combining these two resources has allowed us to bring some of the best content from some of the best minds in the world together for your one-stop shop to better improve the continuing education for not just yourself, but your entire staff. Bringing together all of the lectures from the Rugby Strength Coach community, along with the lectures exclusively done for the Central Virginia Sport Performance community, and all the lectures performed at the Central Virginia Sport Performance Seminar, make this an absolute must for performance coaches around the world. The world-class lectures at the Strength Coach Network are not all that you'll see as well. The discussion in the forums and the support and the career guidance from some of the top practitioners in the world, from people all over the world, makes this an absolute must and a great place for you to network, learn, and grow as a performance professional. So hop on over to strengthcoachnetwork.com and use the code CVASPS, that's CVASPS, to get your 48-hour trial for only $1. We're sure you're going to find great value in the Strength Coach Network and are really excited to have you involved. So hop on over to strengthcoachnetwork.com and use the code CVASPS to check it out today. Hey, what's happening, everybody? DeMayo coming at you with this week's edition of My Thoughts Monday. And today I'd like to kind of talk about some stuff that we do kind of throughout the field. And that is to talk about some things that we maybe don't do the best job when it comes to following through with what we are talking about. We're an exceptionally blue-collar group of individuals, strength and conditioning coaches. And for the most part, coaches understand that there is a long day. There is a lot of work. There is a lot of time required with these things. And those things include early mornings and sometimes, working late into the evenings and, of course, weekends too, depending on what you do with the teams that you're involved in. Well, I bring that up simply because one thing that has become kind of an oddly sexy topic over the last 3 or 4 years is to talk about the importance of sleep. Now, we all know this. We all know how important sleep is. I mean, obviously, right? I mean, it's like you go on Twitter and every day there's at least 10 new posts about how sleep is so important and quotes about sleep and all of these things, different infographics on Instagram and people going on this, that, and the third about how important sleep is. And of course they're right? I mean, there's all sorts of great research to prove it, that cognitive scores go up, skills improve, your ability to shoot free throws in basketball. There was a study, I think at Stanford, that went over that. Of course it helps. We all know it helps. We all know it's important. But we all also run really early morning groups. I thought sleep was important. If sleep is important, then telling me that we need to run a lifting group at 5:30, at 6, at 6:30 in the morning, that doesn't tell me that sleep is important. Now, Do I understand why we do it? Sure, there's a whole bunch of reasons. Reasons that actually make sense, too. Like, class schedules stink. And they have to practice. So, they have to come in early. Okay, I understand that. But they could go later, too. Like, we could do all of our stuff in the afternoon and evening. And I think that there's two fallacies, that we talk about. And that is that sleep, if we end out having them go earlier, means that they're going to go to bed earlier. I don't see that being the case at all, especially not with this generation where they're so exceptionally over-tested and the importance of school is so high. And for the most part, at least with the kids that I get the pleasure to work with, they really care about their grades and they really want to do well in school. So they are up late studying and cramming and doing all that stuff. It doesn't matter if we go at 5:30 or 6 or 8 or 9 or 12 or 1. They're still going to be up till 12, 1, 2, 3 studying. That's just how it is. Like, you're not going to change that behavior unless you are walking up to everyone's room, taking their phones, pulling the batteries out of their laptops, and tucking them in. They're going to be up. The other kind of fallacy of it, too, is that, like, these early morning Friday workouts, like, those deter a thirsty Thursday. False. If you have a team that is going to go out and they're going to go have fun on a Thursday, doesn't matter if you have them training, again, at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 1, or 8 p.m. the next day. The people that are going to go out are the people that are going to go out. So I think that, like, if we're really going to sit here and talk about the importance of sleep, and we're going to sit here and talk about how, they need to do more sleeping, and they need to do this because it'll help them perform better and do better at school and this, that, and the third. But if we're turning around and then telling these kids that they need to do things outside of business hours, we're speaking out of both sides of our mouths. And you can monitor everything all you want, and we can sit here and look and talk about how they may be sleeping better and doing this or the other thing. But at the end of the day, there's going to be times in the year where stress is high, and it's going to catch up to them, and they're not going to sleep well because they're going to be doing these other things. They're either going to be up late because socially they don't want to go to bed and they want to hang out with their friends. They've got tests in school and they're busting their butt to do well in school or stay eligible. Or they want to go out. They're 18 to 22. And I get it. Getting up in the morning requires discipline and all those things that we talk about, accountability, the cool buzzwords that we like to put on the walls of our weight rooms. But does it teach it or does it expose it? And if all it does is expose it, then is it too late? The kid's signed. The kid's on the team. What's it going to be now? What if it's your best player and it's a person who doesn't do mornings well? Who wants to do things at night? And you're not deterring that behavior. Now getting them up is putting them in a worse situation than it was before. I sit here and say this at 5:19 in the morning before I run a group. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be the pot calling the kettle black. I'm just saying this, it's something that we do. And it's not right to tell these kids, well, you need to sleep more. But you got to get your ass in the weight room by 5:30. It's kind of a tough spot to put an 18-year-old. So I don't know how to fix this. This is just what I'm thinking. It's hard for us to speak out of both sides of our mouths when we understand that the pros of a situation could help the kids be better, could help them perform better, could help them do better at school, could help them better in all aspects of their lives. But then we put them in situations where they're not able to do that, where they're not able to move forward like that. Because it's not just the night before game days that matter. It's not just the nights when you're on the road that matter. It's the Tuesdays that matter. It's the Fridays that matter. It's the Sundays that matter. It's every day. Developing those patterns and developing those habits every day is what matters. So, if we're going to tell these kids that we need to sleep more and they need to do better to get to bed more, and they're not able to go to bed at 9:30 like some of us old farts that are sitting here yelling at them to squat lower and bench heavier, maybe it's us that needs to make the change to help them be able to sleep better. That's just my thoughts for this Monday. Gonna grab a cup of coffee, get rocking and rolling. But as always, appreciate everything you guys do for us here at Central Virginia Sport Performance. We'll be back next week with another My Thoughts Monday. I'll see you then.